Welcome to the Network Engineering Video Blog. I'm your host, Michael Crane. This video spans over several days. This is the Cisco 3845 that I bought off of eBay for $50, plus $23 for shipping. And I made a previous video about how this unit was shipped to me. And so at the end of this video, I have a portion of the video speeded up to show you me repairing the damage that was done to the face and the metal mounting bracket. And so you can watch that. I put it at the end in case anyone was just curious to see how I fixed the faceplate. And I believe, I don't remember what video it is, I'll put it in the comment, that shows how this unit was shipped to me and why it ended up so damaged when I got it. So I've already pulled the front faceplate of this off, and you can see that at the end of the video. Here's the fan from the front part of it. And but I'm gonna finish taking it apart. I'm gonna inspect it. We're gonna look at some of the specs on the spec sheet, and we're going to verify that everything is in here. And I have not powered this up yet. I still don't know if it works, but it looks to be in very good condition. There's hardly any dust on it at all. On this, I'll have some close-ups so we'll be able to see later. But if you look inside, if you can see inside, it looks brand new. I don't know how much rack time this has. I've seen some of this stuff just caked with dust and everything. There's not a whole lot of dust in telecom sites, but after years that stuff just adds up. And people in there and your skin, dander, I guess is what it's called. Your skin kind of sheds all the time, and all that stuff just builds up in this equipment after a while and sticks to it, and especially with all electronics, just like a nice big dust magnet. But anyway, this one looks pretty good. So yeah, we'll start taking a look at it and taking it apart and make sure everything looks okay, and then get and see if there's anything else that was damaged internally from its hard shipping. So yeah, let's get started. So here's the bottom of the router. I'm going to zoom into that information tag on it and see if we can get a better look at it. Okay, so it looks like I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see if I can get a better angle at this. Well, I can't read this through the screen, but I'm hoping when it's blown up in HD you'll be able to see it. So it's a 3845 model. It's got all its certifications. Okay, so we got the serial numbers and the part ID, Cisco 3845 version 04. It looks like it was made in October 18th, 2009, and looks like it was made in the US of A. Cisco Systems Inc. I don't see any other identifying information on here, so let's look at the back. So here's the rear of the 3845, and we'll just go over it real quickly. Got a console port, auxiliary port, couple USB sockets over here, a compact flash with a compact flash in it. It's only 64 meg, which seems kind of small, since I think on the spec sheet it said it came with 128 or 512. We'll have to look at that. And then these little wick slots, the H wicks, these are, you can put little nicks in here, the network modules. But there's a bandwidth limitation on the mid plane in this, And so when you start plugging stuff into this thing, you have to make sure you don't plug too many in, otherwise the mid-plane won't support it. And we'll look at that on the spec sheet, because it can be kind of confusing sometimes. But looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the wick slots, and we got a couple. Let me come around to this side. We got a couple Gig E interfaces, Gig E0, Gig E1, SFP slot. Let's see. We also have a fast Ethernet network module. It's an ESW. I don't know what that means right off the top of my head. We'll have to look at it. And it says Gig E. Maybe you can put a SFP port in there. I'm not sure. We'll have to. Maybe we can pull up the spec sheet on that and take a look at it. It looks like. Well, I don't know. That other video, you'll see this was bent completely up, and this looks like it might be bent a little bit. It looks like it's kind of poking out, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll pull it out here in a minute and look at it. So here's a close-up view, starting from the upper left. Here, I'll back up so you can see. So we're going to start from the upper left side here, and so those are the two USB ports. I think they're version 1.1. You got the console on auxiliary ports. You can see where it says HWIC or hardware WIC. I believe that's hardware interface card. I don't remember. Oh, hardware interface card. And then it's got the blanks installed. And one of the things that I mentioned the other day, but I'll mention it again because it's important, is when you buy stuff like this, make sure it's got all the blanks in it. You don't want to buy something that looks like it's been stripped down and dumped onto the side of the road like an old abandoned car, because it serves a purpose, and one of the main purposes, besides electromagnetic interferences, is it helps with the cooling. Otherwise, these things won't cool properly, and so anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up. There's the other wick. There's the flash memory card, and with the flash memory card holder in it, let me pop it out. There you go. You get to see it. Look at that. And oh, by the way, none of these wicks are hot swappable. So as you can see with the warnings on here, you don't want to replace any of these things with the power applied, because you'll fry something. Not the wick card, the router itself. Yeah, so the PVDMs are for their official name is a Packet Voice Digital Signal Processor Module. And they're basically DSPs for the voice capabilities of it, and it is internal. So I guess they give you some light so you can see if you're having any errors on the internal chip without having to. I mean, it gives you a light so you can see that something's on, or if it's powered up or not powered up, or I'm sure that it gives us a sort of status. The AIM lights right there, the advanced integration module for use like with ATM. So if you've got a T1 WIC card plugged in, and you have that AIM module plugged in, or that advanced integration module plugged in, you can do ATM over T1. And let's see what else we got here. We got there's the Gig 0, Gig E00, and Gig E01, and then you've got your SFP over there, which there's nothing installed. And then the only other thing of interest is this network module, and that just has looks like 16 fast Ethernet ports. Fast Ethernet being 100 base T, and it's got this curious thing right here. I'm not familiar with that actually. I don't think I've ever noticed that or seen it. I don't know if that's an SFP buried in there or not, but it does say it supports. Let me see if I can get in here a little better. Well, it's not focusing. Well, there we go. It's about as good as I can get. Anyway, it says it supports 10, 100, 1000 base TX, which sounds like fiber. And yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to take a screwdriver after that and pull it off and see what's in there. It might just be blank. I doubt very seriously if you could use that at the same time you could use these, because it probably would suck up all the bandwidth. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all these blanks and all the modules out on the back so we can take a better look inside of it and see if we see anything damaged. Pop this guy out as one large board. I'm going to set him off to the side. Now, as you can see, that's there's not a whole lot left in that thing. There's a little bit more dust. Let's see if I can give us a little better view in there. You can see there's just a mid plane down in there, and those are the board-to-board connectors. Up here is where the motherboard plugs into the mid-plane. And let's see, what else we got in here? Oh, we've got two of those connectors. So there's for the other side. We'll take a closer look at that motherboard here in a second, because it's got more stuff on it that we want to look at. But yeah, other than some dust in there, I don't see anything broken. Nothing fell out when I pulled the motherboard out. I'm going to go ahead and try to pull this power supply out of here. Well, here we go. So you can see that there's a slot for a second power supply module. It would just go over here and plug in. This one's only got one, so we don't have a redundant power supply. Yeah, so that mid-plane really doesn't do a whole lot except move signals around to the and power to the different cards. Here, I'll zoom in here so you can take a better look at that power connector. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of dark in there. I don't know if you can see it or not. So yeah, so let's take a look at some of the boards. So here's the fast Ethernet. It's NM ESW16, and there's that what I thought may be an SFP hidden back there where it says 1000 base TX, and you flip it around and there's nothing there. So so there you go. And I was looking at the board, you know, just briefly, and I'm not going to analyze this. That's Dave's job. But I was looking at this. It does have this right here. This is I believe a ground pin, which makes me think this module is hot swappable. We'll have to look at that. Because usually on hot swappable modules, they have the ground inserted first, so static electricity doesn't zap anything. But we'll have to check. Never second guess these network modules. If you can power the thing off without causing an outage, do it. It's just a lot safer. So and then the fan, which I pulled out the other day. Here's the fan cage assembly. Let's see if we can get a better look at that. So here's the fan cage assembly, and it's basically just got this goes in the front. right in front of where the power supply was, and it's just got a connector there, and it's got 3 fans. And as you can see, they're all pretty clean. I mean, this thing is it's got some light pipes on there for status, and yeah, this thing is in very good shape. Oops, sorry, I got it upside down. There you go. And the power supply looks like it's a Aztec model AA23160, 300 watts. It looks just like a regular PC power supply. And we'll open it up, make sure nothing's broken there. I didn't hear anything rattling around when I took it out, so I'm guessing it's probably okay. But since we've gotten this far, we might as well take a look at it anyway, right? Oh, that looks pretty nice. I actually expected it to look a little cheaper than that. Let me see if I can get a better shot at that for you. Yeah. It's all nice and clean. I know the light in here is not too good. Let me see if I can manually do this. Bear with me. It's got some Rubicon caps in it. That's good. Well, I don't see anything broken there. There's the power switch and the IEC connector. Okay, so here's the motherboard, and we're just going to take a quick look at this and have a look around. I'm not going to be able to identify all these chips, and don't really want to be honest with you. I mean, there's a couple AMD processors in here and some Cisco branded chips, and I don't know, that's a Micron, I guess. Here's an Altera chip, but yeah, I don't want to look all this stuff up. Here's one under a heatsink. But what I'm interested in is how much RAM it has. And according to this label right here, it's got this 256 meg chip, and the other one is empty. So we know this one came with just the 256 meg, so it should have the I believe it's 125 meg compact flash, or 128 meg. But it only had a 64 in it, so hopefully that's got the right load on it. I don't know, maybe someone swapped it out for a smaller one, I don't know. But here's your PVDM slots right here. This is where you put all your DSP stuff. Here's those AIM slots. Remember we were looking, if you recall, we were looking at the LEDs on the front, so you know, if you've got, they're probably status or populated lights. I'm guessing as soon as they're booted up, they probably light up the LED on the front. And that way you kind of know without having to pull this thing apart what's in there. And here's your compact flash slot, SPF. Here's your Gig E ports right here. Here's your USB down here, console. And I don't know. Oh, this says it's the fan connector here. So yeah, I guess the fans are probably variable speed. They speed up and slow down. Well, that's about it. I don't see anything else of interest for a network engineer. I noticed some Nichicon caps down here. Those are always, Dave says those are the best. Here's your board-to-board connectors. This is what connects to the mid-plane. I'm going to talk to the other network modules. Yeah, so I was looking in the mid plane. So I guess that these are also supplying the power as well. So from the mid plane. So the power supply plugs into the mid plane, and then supplies the power to these and these two and all the boards, and I'm sure these are also doing the communication as well. So it's probably split up here. And let's see, I think that's about it. I did check to make sure this was plugged in good. I don't see anything cracked or missing or broken. And so I think we might have got lucky there. I did take some canned air and spray it out some. But yeah, I think I think that's about it. And there's nothing on the back, by the way. It's shielded, and I'm not going to pull this apart. And I doubt if there's anything back there anyway, except for maybe some passives. So so that's good. So I mean, unfortunately, we didn't get any bonus cards in here, like you know, the extra RAM and maybe some AIM modules or some PVD modules. But you know, hey, that's okay. That's just the bonus. You know, as long as this thing works. Notice it was also, this board was copyrighted in 2004. So they've had this in production for at least 5 years, because the manufacturing date on this was 2009. At least on the chassis. So okay, so we're going to take a look at the Cisco 3800 series product data sheet, and this is the only product data sheet I could find searching around Cisco.com. There might be more out there. I didn't find any, and so let's take a quick look at this. A lot of this first stuff here looks like it's just some marketing swank. Product overview, yeah, that's a router. Online insertion and removal and redundant power supply configuration. Let's see, it does IPsec. That's good. Intrusion, IPS, yeah. Voice call processing, yep. It's AC or DC powered, good. Two new models, 3825 and 3845. It's interesting, it's got this no VPN. I don't think I've seen that before, or I never paid any attention to it. Offer all the features supported by Cisco, and with the exception of VPN payload encryption. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. These two new models provide a limited set of security features such as firewall, IPS, compared to the 3825. Yeah, I'll have to see what ours is. Well, I was looking at ours and it doesn't say anything about no VPN on it, so I'm guessing ours has the VPN payload encryption. I guess we can check it out later. Not that I'm going to use VPNs right off the top, right at the beginning here, but that'll be interesting to look at. Okay, network security connectivity for data and voice and video. Let's see, is there anything? Self-defending network. Wow. Okay, Cisco integrated routers provide advanced encryption, AES, triple encryption, 3DES, multi-protocol label switching. Oh, that'll be fun to play with. Stateful firewall protection, dynamic intrusion, IPS, URL filtering, blah, blah, blah. You guys can go read more about this. We'll implement some of this in our network. Okay, so web-based, yeah, we don't care about the web-based stuff. We all use the console here at the Network Engineering Video blog. Okay, good. It supports SNMP v3, which is basically just like SNMP version 2, except it's got security. And yeah, more marketing junk. Oh, this looks just like the, well, kind of like the network, on the Network Engineering Video blog's logo. Okay. Unified communications, yep. Yeah, let's see here, unified, okay, mid-size to large, yep. The cube. Yeah, this is basically a software load for the 3845. And I doubt if we have that load. We'll have to look. it probably supports some of the, some of the features like dial peers and that sort of stuff. But I doubt if it, well, since we don't have any DSPs in there, yeah, the call processing and digit detection might not work too good. Okay, so communication managers express. Oh, yeah, don't care about that. The survivability of remote site telephony. Not familiar with that. Okay, yeah, we don't care about the cube. The Unity Advanced Integration Module. Yep. Well, that's interesting. Small office branches can take advantage of complete all-in-one data, voice processing, voicemail, and automated attendant system by adding a Cisco Unity Express Advanced Integration Module. Well, that's interesting. So I thought that was just for ATM, and apparently it's got other, you can add other features to your router. Interesting. Okay, and as you can tell, these routers are so complicated and so versatile. That's kind of why it's a double-edged sword. It's great that they're very versatile and everything, but it makes them extremely complicated to configure sometimes, and you really have to do your homework if you're trying to do a specific solution. And you might need different modules, different software loads, and it can really they can really snowball on you in a hurry. Okay, so widest range of voice gateway interface, scaling to meet. Okay, let's see. SIP trunk software, network modules, blah blah blah, voice interface cards. Oh, here we go. Okay, so scaling to meet the requirements, all sizes of branch offices, voice termination densities using a combination of SIP trunk software. Now, who came up with that? I mean, geez. Just say, yeah, it supports VoIP. Be done with it. Network, okay, so SIP trunk software, network modules, which are the NMs, extension voice modules, the EVM, voice interface cards, the VIX, voice/WAN interface cards, or the VWIX, and onboard packet voice DSP modules, or the PVDMs, which we looked at. We know we don't have any of those in there. Okay, there's scalability for 24 T1 E1 trunks and 88 foreign exchange stations. And if you don't know what FXS port is, it's basically your old style telephone port. The RJ11, you plug it in and, with a telephone cord and that sort of thing. Okay, or yeah, your fax machines and etc. Let's see, voice XML, okay, wireless LAN, yeah, I don't care, because we're going to have our own Wi-Fi. We're not going to get a NIC for that thing. Video surveillance, integrated services, application integration. Okay, here we go. Primary features, let's see what's in here. More marketing swank, blah, 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 blah. Let's see, architecture optimized for services growth. Wow. I wonder if we're going to get any information out of this document. This high performing blah blah, this architecture trees blah blah. PVDM slots, yep. Okay, enhanced chassis interfaces help enable exceptional. Wow. Advanced services interfaces integrate applications directly into the router. Okay. Without the need for separate appliances. Okay, NAM. So that AIM, I guess we can do NAM, integrated traffic monitoring. Enables application level visibility into the network traffic for remote troubleshooting analysis. The Cisco IPS module provides the ability to inspect all traffic traversing the router. Okay. To identify stuff, yeah. The Cisco WAS network module delivers an application acceleration and WAN optimization solution that accelerates the performance of any TCP-based application delivered across WAN. Okay. And here I thought it was just an ATM board. Okay, so it's got embedded security processing, best-in-class security feature support. So it's got AES 256. Oop, let me start from the top. Integrated hardware for offload encryption services. Okay, IPsec, 3DES, AES 128, 182, 256. Okay. Cisco iOS software for identity. Yeah, packet filtering, firewall. Yeah. Okay, ideal platform, integrated telephony. Yeah, we'll look at that later. You guys are welcome to go look at this more. I'm not too interested in the telephony features right now, although we will probably set something up. I'm not planning on getting any FXS, FXO cards for this thing. And but you never know. We might set up a fax machine for for people that still use them. There are still some companies out there, but okay. So wireless support. Yep. Application integration. Total cost. Oh, okay, whatever. Investment protection. Yeah, I don't care. Availability. Yeah, that's one thing about these Ciscos is that they're very reliable. I mean, obviously you've seen this one. It was shipped without any packing whatsoever in an empty cardboard box via FedEx, and dropped on its head and dropped on its back and pretty much thrown around like a football, and the thing still fires up with just a few whacks of a hammer and some super glue. Okay, so it supports the internal redundant power supplies, which we don't have. AC, DC, okay. AC, IP, and DC when redundancy for PoE is required. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, if they don't care about 3825, error checking. Yep, everyone's got that. Yeah, that's nice about these is so it doesn't matter. You can unplug these things and you'll never corrupt the file system in it. At least I've never been able to corrupt the file system. I mean, you could probably tinker around with it and try to do a write mem at the same time you unplug the power and get it to corrupt it, but I don't know. You would really have to be trying to corrupt it. I mean, just normally just unplugging the thing or powering it off never hurts these things. Advanced temperature monitoring and variable speed cooling fans. This is kind of interesting because that's good. Because this thing has got 3 fans in it, and I'm sure it's going to be pretty noisy if it doesn't slow those fans down. Okay, so it's got a iOS warm reboot for improved boot up times. Yeah, okay. Network module online insertion, removal, and field replaceable components such as fan tray, motherboard, and power supplies. Online. And, well, how do you replace the motherboard online? I mean, hey, I don't know about that. I claim BS there. You pull that motherboard out of that thing, and yeah, that thing's pretty much dead. So, Cisco needs to remove that. And now, yeah, this is if you have redundant power supplies. And fan tray, yeah, I don't know, I never tried it. Maybe we'll have to try that one of these days and see if they're... I know that motherboard won't work. There's only one. If there's 2 of them, it'd be different. Okay, so, here it is. Payload encryption does not support on models with part numbers 3825 no VPN and 3845 no VPN. And we have verified that we don't have this no VPN model, so that's good. That's good.
So, okay, so here's some more interesting stuff. Um, we've got network module slots. These slots can accommodate a standard network module, enhanced network module, or NME, enhanced extended network module, or NME-X, and high density extension module, or EVM-HD. Wow. Yeah, and this is one of the things with Cisco and these network modules, because they kind of blow sometimes, is trying to figure out what ones can work and not work, and what slot, and because I think some slots you can only put some in, and as we'll see here in just a second, there's a limit to how many you can stick in of each one of these, and yeah, it's it's yeah, Johnny, get your encoder ring out time, because it can be real challenging trying to figure out what modules you can use with other modules and mix and match and that sort of thing. Okay, you can combine two side-by-side NME slots to accommodate one double-wide network module, or when available, a double-wide enhanced extended network module. Yeah, wow. Okay, I think that just means you can put two of the smaller network modules in one of those big network module slots, but you have to have the special carrier for it to do that with, and it has to be certain kinds, because I'm sure there's a bandwidth limitation on these things, each slot. So and this right here, this right here is going to be this maximum number. This is interesting. So maximum number of network modules, NMEs, and NME-X's supported 4. Even though you might have room to stick 8 in there, you can't. You can only put 4 in there. The maximum number of the NMD/NM-XD supported 2. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. This you have to pay attention to this, because if you try sticking more than 2 in there, it's not going to work. And probably the software probably won't even recognize it. That's how Cisco, when you plug a network module in it, and if it doesn't pop up in your config file automatically, then more than likely it's not supported in your hardware. The hardware or software is not supporting it, and it's usually the hardware. Okay, so maximum number of EVM-HDs. Gosh, I forgot what that even was. I know it's somewhere up here somewhere. Oh, here it is. The high density extension module. Okay. Yeah, so it only supports 2 of that. And I'll bet you $1 to a donut hole you can't stick 2 of these and 2 of these in there. I don't know for a fact, but I would I would be surprised if you could. Let's see, number of hardware WIC slots. These hardware WIC slots also support VIX, VWIX, and WIX. And see, there's only 4 of them. Oh, okay. This is just saying the number of slots it has. Yeah. So that's just a physical thing. It's not, has nothing to do with bandwidth limitations. This maximum number business, this is what'll get you. Is even though you can fit more of these in there, it's not going to support them. Okay, number of LAN ports, 2 1 gig ports, yeah, we know that. Number of fixed small form factor pluggables, that were SFPs. 1, yep, we verified that. Number of AIM slots is 2, yep, verified that. PVDMs is 4. USB 1.1 ports, okay, so now we know it's USB 1.1. And for future use with USB flash memory security tokens for blah blah blah. Yeah, you can basically the USBs are, you can use them all the time now for transferring loads, to the router if you don't want to try to use TFTP to get the loads, or or don't want to pull the compact flash cards out and move them around to different routers. And we do this all the time. It says future use, but I'm willing to bet that they work, and we can try that later. Embedded VPN hardware. Oh, embedded VPN, hardware-based VPN encryption. Yes. Oh, yeah. The little asterisk means that the no VPN doesn't support it, but we have the VPN model, so that's good. Number of console ports 1, auxiliary ports 1. And memory, external compact flash and internal double data rate, DDR synchronous dynamic RAM, SD RAM with ECC, which is the error correction. And let's see, advanced iOS feature sets may require additional memory. Okay. And yeah, that's a real fun tool to use. That'd be a whole separate video right there. Okay, so we've got the 3845. It defaults to 128, or the default what it ships with is 128 compact flash, which we only got a 64 with. So I'm guessing that someone pulled that 128 megabyte one out of there and stuck the 64 megabyte one in there, which, you know, it doesn't really matter, I guess, as long as it can hold it. And it says it comes with 512 megabyte of DDSD RAM, and I believe that we only saw one stick of 256 in there. So yeah, someone, I don't know what happened with that. Maybe someone yanked a stick of RAM out on us. Well, that's you know, one of the 256 ones. So that's that kind of sucks. So, and that's why you kind of open these things up and look at them, because you know, any software on there, if we do, I'll have to get another stick of RAM for it. And the maximum is 1 gig. So, well, there you go. See, that's why it's good to go through these data sheets to see, you know, if they're ripping you off. Especially if you get a box that has a bunch of screws missing, it's good to go through it. And okay, here's the summary, and I'm not going to read all that stuff. And I can link in this document if people are interested. Just let me know in the comments, and I'll link it in. Okay, yeah, so it weighs 35 pounds. Yep, and here's the dimensions on it. And let's see, AC power, yep, on 100 to 240, so it'll work, you know, and with the European stuff, voltages. It pulls about 4 amps. Startup current 50 amps max. Wow. Yeah, that's just got to be a spike. And I don't know if this is a max or not. It just says AC input current. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. AC IP input current. Oh, I guess this is if you have some power over Ethernet cards plugged into it. Because they can pull, looks like almost double the load. DC input voltage. Yeah, we don't care about that. Output 300 watts for system. And that sounds kind of weird, but if you look at this from a cooling point of view, it's like running a 300 watt light bulb. Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is max or if this is an average running. I'm thinking this might be maximum. And because, you know, it's got 360 here with the IP power over Ethernet phones plugged in. And redundant power supplies, typical power distribution. Oh, okay. So here it did actually give us some heating information. So typical power dissipation is 79 watts with nothing plugged into it, which that's like a 80 watt light bulb. So that's not too bad with, you know. And then you've got 435 watts AC without IP phone support. Um, wow. So it doesn't say what's plugged into it. It just says AC with phone support. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't, it says typical power dissipation with no modules, 79 watts. So I guess you got to go to each module, see how much power it pulls, and then just keep adding to it. You know, if you're just going to have to size it appropriately, your cooling, and just know this thing could possibly dump out about 600 watts of heat, or 1,890 BTUs per hour. Okay, so operating temperature, so it'll work up to 104 degrees Fahrenheit, which means you can't really stick this in your garage or somewhere, you know, where it's going to get real hot, like your attic. This needs to be in an air-conditioned room. And non-operating temperature, I'm not sure what that point of that is. I guess if you're outside of that, I don't know. Relative humidity. Okay, so 5 to 85%, so don't keep it out in the rain. Maximum operating temperature at altitude. Okay, that's for you folks that live in Denver. Safety, all the certifications, yeah. Supported modules. Yep. This is something that you'll have to become one with, no matter what Cisco router you buy. You'll need to look at this and figure out which ones go to what routers, and it doesn't matter the old ones or new ones. They're, as far as I know, it's still a challenge to figure out what cards fit in what routers. Okay, so to place an order, okay, well, and this kind of just shows what they come with default. So you got 3845 gigabit, blah blah blah. You know, it's just basically a stripped down one with looks like one AC power supply. And oh, here we go. So security, voice bundles. Okay, so here's the different software loads. So this will kind of help you figure out what software you need. And oh yeah, so 128 meg of flash, 512 meg of DRAM. Okay, so yeah, if you're gonna start running any of this stuff, the voice stuff, this is the minimum required hardware and memory and flash size. So you might be going, well, who cares about the flash size? Well, these loads can get, so like that 64 meg of compact flash I have probably won't fit this load because it needs 128 megabit flash. So the physical load the physical size of the file is bigger than my 64 meg flash can hold. Okay, and so secure voice and bundles, security bundles. Yeah, so it looks like I might be in trouble with this router. I'm gonna have to score another stick of RAM for it. It looks like, but we'll try it. We'll see. We'll see if it works okay. You know, it's hard to know, especially if you're buying it from these guys that buy the stuff in auction. There's, I mean, you have to be careful with some of that stuff because it's probably just been, gone through with a fine-tooth comb, and I guess I should be lucky it's got any RAM in it at all. But if it didn't, it would show up dead. So, okay, so compact flash. 128, 256 megabit factory upgrade. Yeah, I guess it's just what you can, fan accessories, yeah. Oh, okay. So here's all the iOS feature sets that it supports. Yeah, so this is all the different versions of software you can buy for this router. So here's another. Not only do you have to figure out what interface cards you need in there, or network modules, then you got to figure out the different IP loads that you need. And this one right here is fairly common. This advanced IP services. This usually has a lot of everything in it, and I don't know. Yeah, this advanced IP services is very, very common. So okay, so iOS feature licenses available. Yeah, so those folks that buy the 3900s, you're gonna love the licenses, because now they've really gone crazy with licenses in the 3900 series. That's why the 3800 series might be a good alternative if you don't want to pay through the nose for a bunch of licenses just to get your router to work. And this looks like it's for the call manager stuff, which are the cube stuff that I don't think we're going to use too much, but you never know. I'm sure it supports some basic dial peer stuff. Here's some other licenses. You can go through there. Let's see, is there anything else in here? Support? Nope, that's it. So there you go. That's a look at the product data sheet for the 3800, specifically the 3845. And so there you go.
So I took a closer look at this fast Ethernet network module, and remember when I was saying that it looked like it was bent right here, and I was doing a closer inspection of it, and I flipped it over and looked, and as you can see, it's bent right along here. This part was actually bent up. I've got it upside down right now. So this part right here was bent up like this, and this is the other side of it. You can see how it kind of has like the half moon shape, and if you notice that these right here look like they're smashed up. And I'm not sure, I'll have to take an Ethernet cable out and see if they'll even fit in there. But the biggest thing is I believe there might be some, this chassis might be touching some pins over here. I'll have to take it apart and take a better look at it, but this for sure needs to be straightened out, because we don't want it shorting on anything, you know, on the board here. That would just ruin the module. I'm going to go ahead and try to plug a cable in this thing. Yeah, see, I can't get a cable in those. I can get it in the top, but I can't get it in the bottom. This has definitely been smashed. So I'm going to have to take this front face plate off and see if I can't straighten up this bottom row down here. Gosh, I'm not even sure how I'd do that. And hope that the board's not cracked. Otherwise, this board might not work at all. But see, this is a good thing. This is a good reason why I didn't power it up before taking it apart and having a better look at it. Because if this shorted out the motherboard, then it would have just been in the heat pile. So I mean, it's bad enough if this one's bad, but if it ruins the motherboard, then I am going to have a piece of garbage. So let me take this front faceplate off. So I took the front cover off. It's real easy. There's just a couple screws right here. There's 4 screws. There's 2 here, and then there's 2 on the bottom. Yeah, right here and right here. They just screw it right. It's real easy to take apart. That's why I didn't bother showing it on video. But yeah, so I took it off, and let's see. Yeah, see, I still can't get that connector in there. I can get in that one, barely. So I think I'm going to have to try to see if I can straighten this out a little bit. because these look like they're bent up a little bit. Maybe if I can maybe smooth these down. The whole connector doesn't look bad, and I actually looked at the board. I took this under my microscope and looked at the board right along here where it was damaged. And these are actually the LEDs for the different ports. There's 16 of them underneath here, and so that's what that metal was laying on. I looked, none of them looked broke, so maybe we got lucky there. I looked, the PCB doesn't look broke, and I didn't see anything else damaged, just with a visual inspection. So I'm hoping with a little percussive maintenance here that I can get this thing straightened out and still use it. So I've got my hammer, and I'm ready to get started working on this. Yeah. Nothing like beating on Cisco cards. Basically all I'm doing is flattening it out. I think this metal was kind of pushed up a bit. We'll take a closer look at it here in a minute. There are a couple little tabs right here that I think they're supposed to be part of the EMI shielding. I can see them up here too, so when this bezel fits around it, it's grounded. Yeah, so you can see the copper tabs right here for the EMI shielding. Yeah, so that's, I probably need to, they look like they were, actually they look factory flattened. I don't know. Actually, it looked like they're up underneath this board. So let me see if my percussive, I guess I probably shouldn't have been beating on the connector either. That's probably not a real good idea. But let's see here. Hey! Look at that. This is actually that little cable I made in the previous video. Works good for a RJ45 test plug. Well, there you go. So I can get that plug in every one of the ports. Now, let's see if I can straighten this guy out. This one might be a little more challenging. So I can't really get the hammer in there to straighten it out. Maybe a screwdriver. Now this is probably not another really bright idea, using your electronic screwdrivers for basically a chisel, but I'm not going to hit it very hard. That seems to be doing the job. See, it's I got some of that EMI popping off there, but it looks pretty flat now. I don't believe that top one is. It looks like it's uniformly kind of looks bent down a little bit, but it looks like it might have been made that way. Anyway, I'm gonna put that back together and see what see how it looks. I was looking at this front bezel a little bit more, and I think I'm going to try to straighten this LED panel out a little bit more, and maybe this handle. So I also wanted to mention, you know, when you buy a $50 router, you know, this is an acceptable way to repair it. If you have a $5,000 router with $1,000 NIC cards in it, I don't suggest using a hammer on them. I just wanted to get that out there so people don't think this is an acceptable way to work on a Cisco router. But it is acceptable for a $50 router. So this is probably going to ruin my chances of anyone ever hiring me for as a professional service consultant. Since I pulled the hammer out on the old Cisco, that pretty much ruins that chance. Oh, it fits on there real nice, huh? You can see all the LEDs. Yep. Anything touching? Yeah, let me get some screws in there. Then we'll look at it. Now, when I put something together, this is a little side note while I'm doing this. I was taught this many years ago, that you always put the screws in, not tight, not snug, but maybe 1 or 2 turns away from being tightened up. And that way you can get all the screws in there, everything's adjusted and lined up. Otherwise, if you try screwing them tight one at a time, you're never gonna, or a lot of times you won't be able to, it won't fit right, and you'll be wondering why a part doesn't fit on there correctly. Well, there you go. I just put those on the wrong side. That was brilliant. And it helps to get the screws on the right side too. That's a big plus. Also, another thing too when you're working on these things is you should probably, I should probably be wearing an anti-static strap working on an anti-static bench. Which I have, but it's hard for me to record a video up there, and this has better light, so I'm rolling the dice. But if you're doing this on your own, yeah, it's better to do it on an anti-static bench with a wrist strap, properly grounded wrist strap, that sort of stuff. So here we go. Okay, so yep, that still works. I'm just going to spot check it. Yep, that still works. Yep, there we go. Yeah, so all the port LEDs look like they line up. I don't know if you can see that very good or not, but oh, I forgot to put the little cover on here, didn't I? Yeah, by the way, I looked on that PCB trying to figure out if it had like a marking on it or not to say what goes in there, but I didn't see anything marked on the PCB that said like SFP or something obvious. Yeah, I don't really know what's supposed to go there. Alright, well that's good. Let's hope it still works. I didn't see any cracks in the PCB, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this is going to be a win. And hopefully me beating on the other side, I wasn't beating very hard, so this connector is probably fine. I mean, geez, this thing's probably designed for a lot of, I mean, this thing gets a lot of abuse being pushed and pulled inside, in and out of the mid-plane. So So I'm sure it's probably okay. So yeah, I don't see really anything else. So I think it's time to put everything back together again and see if it powers up. Okay, well I think we've finished with the repair and inspection of the router. Let's go ahead and power it up and see if it works. Now, when you're first powering these things up, you have no idea if the password's been reset in it, and default, which I believe is no password, or Cisco I think sometimes is put in there, or it's got an old config and we're going to have to reset the password, which doesn't really matter either way. I blow away the configs in these things as a matter of course, because I don't want a bunch of junky configs stuck in there. So to access them, and I know I've shown this before in another video on the 3750 cat switch, but it's the same thing. You need a Cisco, baby blue Cisco DB9, a DB9 to RJ45. See if we can get it in the picture there. This one's actually got a Cisco logo on it. And you can buy these on eBay for $6 or something like that. That's even including switching. And you also need, most laptops or PCs don't have DB9 serial ports anymore, so you'll need a DB9, which that's what this is, to USB adapter. And this one I'm using here is really old. It's a SIG, S-I-I-G. I don't even know the model number of it. Here's a close-up of it. I don't know if that's focusing in. I can't see it on the screen, but if you just Google USB to serial, you'll find them. There's plenty of them. The default settings for the console port is 9600 baud rate, no stop bit. It's a N81, so it's no stop bits, 8-bit parity, or 1 parity and 8 bits. And this is the bag that you stick all these cables in so they don't get tangled up inside your laptop bag. Okay, so yeah, let's plug this guy in and see if it works.
Okay, so I'm going to use PuTTY to access the serial or the console port on the 3845. The first thing we want to do is we need to see what port that SIG USB adapter used. And what I mean by port is serial port. And the reason why is because it's dynamic with USB and it can move around. The port numbers can change. So what you want to do is go to the device manager. And sorry I'm not showing you my main desktop, but I'll kind of talk you through it. So if you go and search, and this should work on any version of Windows, and just type in device manager, and that, I believe, is 2 words. Yeah, it pulls it right up, and then you can just click on it and wait for it, and there it is. It just popped right up. Okay, and then what you want to do is go to ports, and open that up and look at the COM port it's using. So the USB serial port is COM3, and you can tell it's a COM and not like the microphone is plugged into another USB port, but it won't be listed under these COM and LPT. I think LPT stands for line printer or something. So anyway, we know it's COM3. So you go back over here to PuTTY. What you want to do is say serial, and you can see it's defaulted to 9600. But we don't want COM1, which is a default. We want COM3. And we're going to save this session under the Cisco 3845 console. And that's just for later on. And but we want to go make sure that the rest of the settings are correct. So if you go over here under connection and then serial, you'll see, okay, it updated our COM3, our baud rate or speed, port speed is 9600. Our data bits are 8. We have 1 stop bit and no parity. And that's what I was saying earlier. It's N81 for no parity, 8 bits, 1 stop bit. And you don't have to worry about this flow control. So we just say, so that's okay. So if you go back to session, if you made any changes, you'd need to make changes and then go back to session and hit save again. But we didn't change anything because it's all default. Now we're going to open this up. And I'm going to go ahead and power it up and let's see what happens. Well, we seem to have already had a layer 1 problem. I forgot to plug in the router. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've plugged in the router. Now I'm going to turn it on. The fans, okay, yeah, good. So at least we know the console port settings haven't been changed. We'll give it a minute here and see if it decides to load anything up. Just looking at the Bootstrap, it's Bootstrap version 12.4, release 13, and T11 is the feature release. And 2008, okay, it's 3845. Yep, it recognizes the. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, it recognized the Ethernet. Oh, there we go. This is good. So what it's doing now is, as it's scrolling by, it recognized. Let me go look at it real quick while it's coming up. It recognized the card right here, and it also recognized the 2 gig ports that are on the main frame. The 2 1 gig ports, I mean, and then it recognized the compact flash card. It says it's 62. It's a 64 byte K of compact flash. We've got 500K of non-volatile RAM. So what it was doing here is since it recognized the card and all the ports, the Ethernet card. It's basically just telling us that everything is down. It went and scanned all the ports and said, yeah, everything's down. Ah, well, this is kind of interesting. So, so it looks like the config was left in here, which means we'll probably never be able to get into the enabled mode because we won't know the password for it unless they just left it at Cisco, or blank, which would be pretty surprising. Well, let's try it. So enable. Password, let's try just enter. Nope, that didn't work. How about Cisco? Oh, that didn't work either. So, there you go. Yeah, we're going to have to blow the password out of this thing and reset it back to factory defaults, which is good anyway, because we don't want the old config. But what this does show us is that the router does work. It recognizes that fast Ethernet card that we had to take a hammer to and straighten out, and that the flash is okay, and it seems to be working. So yeah, that's a big thumbs up there. So the next video we will I'll make this a separate video because sometimes people just want to know how to reset the password and they don't want a whole bunch of other information. So that'll be in the next video. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments. And if you have any comments or questions on this video, leave them in down below in the comments. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Well, it's not perfect, but at least it's better than what it was. I did miss one piece here. It was kind of small and I didn't feel like messing with it. But I think it turned out okay. I give it a, I don't know, a C, B minus. Doesn't look new, but at least it's all one piece now, and I was able to get the covers back on. But yeah, you can still see cracks and everything. It's a real shame. Maybe my buddies at Cisco will feel sorry for me and send me a new one. But anyway, I kind of cleaned the rest of it up. I used my favorite thing to use, Armor All. People that know me will probably get a laugh out of that. I use Armor All pretty much on everything. So well, that's it finished. So there it is. We'll see you next time. Bye.